This is central. Just go
Oh, welcome to Project X. I'm Tony. This is Michael, and you're watching today as Film Club. Basically, what this show is going to be is quite self-explanatory. It's going to be watching films and answering questions in three segments. First segment will be Hook Line, second one will be Star of the Show, and third will be Unsung Heroes. And then we'll give you an overall rating out of 10 at the end.
Just as a quick note in post, turns out that neither of them decided to mention the film that they watched during the intro, so now you're getting stuck with me. For the first episode in our potential new series, the guys decided to watch Inheritance, a thriller starring Simon Pegg and Lily Collins in which the death of a patriarch from a wealthy and powerful family suddenly passes away, leaving his wife and daughter with a shocking secret inheritance that threatens to unravel and destroy their lives. Now with that out of the way, I'll hand you back over to Tony and Michael and we'll see what they had to say about it. Enjoy.
Our first segment today is Hook Line. Michael, what were your first impressions in the first 30 minutes of the film?
I mean, I thought it was fine for the first 30 minutes, but we're gonna obviously spoilers ahead for the whole video, for the whole film, I think it's fair to say. But within the first 30 minutes, basically, this lassie's dad dies and he gives his son $20 million, and then he gives her $1 million and a new pet. And when she discovers what the new pet is, it's Simon Pegg chained up in a basement. And yeah, so my first reaction was, personally, if I wasn't watching this film for this video, I would have turned it off after 30 minutes. I would have turned it off. And I'm glad I didn't, because it's actually, the ending is fucking incredible. But like the first 30 minutes, basically, as soon as she finds Simon Pegg chained up in the basement, I would have shot him in the fucking head. I would have been like, okay, right, we're done.
If you done with it.
Yeah, it's like what one of the other characters says, what one of the characters says is that the brother would have thrown away the key, which is what I would have done. I would have just opened the door, seen it, and been like, not my problem, and fucking closed it. So if I was the main character, none of the movie would have ever happened. And with that, I quite often would turn the movie off because I'm like, it just bugs me most of the time with films. So, but what did you think?
Like I was going to say, what you said there is kind of along the same lines. I thought, see, like the amalgamation at the start where they're trying to like foreshadow the entire film. Like I just felt like the first 30 minutes were so rushed and compact.
Yeah, they could have got to the good stuff a lot quicker, to be honest. But I thought that. Oh, what have I got here? My exact note says bullshit. I would have killed him. And then immediately. Oh yeah, right. When she meets Harold, Simon Pegg's character, he's like, oh, well, she looks, and then she immediately runs away, which is a fair reaction. She then returns with a gun. He then sees her face, which again, immediately, she should have killed him after that. Let's be honest. He's seen her face. She then goes away and comes back with a mask. He then lists off her full name, her date of birth, her child's name. Why is he still alive? Right? That's why I would have turned it off in the first 30 minutes, because that stuff happens really quick. And I was like, I was just like, nah, you can't.
But she's got a conscience. She's got a conscience.
Yeah, but clearly this guy has been chained up there for a long time at first sight by your father. So if you, no matter what, if he goes free, he's probably, my thought was, he'll come after you for revenge. You can't, you know what I mean? It's not fair. But, got to throw away the key, like he says.
Like in Big Bang. But I do agree. I felt like the pacing is totally off the entire film. Like you know where you want to be when you want to be, and I guess like that's filmmaking, right? But I mean, I'm not a filmmaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To that extent. But I mean, I get I just kind of feels like if you've only got an hour and 51 minutes and keep in the fucking good shit, make it a good film, and like make it watchable. Like I'm not fucking dragging it a bit. there's a scene where she picks up a fucking teddy and she's just in her house. And it's like, oh, kid. Like, I mean, sure that like if you went into it, Mayor Ken, like her husband is like mentioned like once or twice, Ken, like there's no like, and that's brought up like our dad, or who she thinks is her dad in the film, like didn't
Yeah.
want her to marry him, didn't want her to marry him, Ken, like, and there's like all this fucking. There's all this fucking backstory that they're trying to shovel in this latte, but they didn't explore any of it or use any of it for that fact, and it doesn't even factor into the plot.
Yeah.
No shitting on her character. She's good character.
Yeah, I feel like all the actors were pretty good, but it was just I get what you mean by saying like they tried to fit a lot into the start and like all the foreshadowing, like in the again spoilers, and then it turns out that Simon Pegg's character is her dad. And I guess we'll get into how that happened later, but it's pretty fucking dark. Yeah, so like obviously that's why he only gives her $1 million and like kind of bumps her instead of her dad, the other one. And that I guess that's why you give her the key. Like there's a lot of stuff that you pick up on later, but it's I don't know. I feel like once it has the first like 30 minutes is probably the worst part of the film, which is not great for a film, especially on Netflix when people can just flick to something else, not giving a shit. They can just be like, okay, next.
And you need
But,
it needs to be engaging. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, that's probably why I would turn it off, because I would be like, because I get like I normally like when there's something that's just so dumb like that in my opinion, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And then I'm like, I'm out.
I totally get that. It's like can the only reason I really watched this film was for Simon Pegg, and like
Oh,
I
and
mean,
he delivered.
he steals the show.
Yeah, we should maybe this is we'll move on to the next segment.
The second segment is the start of the show.
Exactly. Who was, in my opinion, definitely Simon Pegg.
Oh,
I don't think it's close. Like I think that Lily Collins, I think her name is. She does a good job as the main character. What is her name? Whatever her name is.
My start of the show is definitely Simon Pegg on the same as yourself. I feel like yeah, as I say, he's the only reason I watched it. See, to be honest, see when I watched the trailer, Patrick Warburton is in this film, right? He plays
Yeah.
dad, right?
Yeah.
And I thought like he's so unused, like in it, like it's like so. Like I felt kind of like because I've seen him in the trailer and I was like, oh, brilliant, Simon Pegg and Patrick Warburton in the film, like, and he's fucking deep, like in the first.
Yeah, he dies at like in the opening scene. It's him dying. I'm pretty sure.
Aye, but I like these scenes. I thought his goodbye message, like in the USB clip thing, was like.
It was pretty weird.
Aye, he's like. I suppose it's a weird thing to be talking about, though.
I like it's.
I guess, but he's like, say something like he goes like condolences, my condolences or something like that. Like, and it's like there's some weird formal fucking goodbye, and like he's still trying to play it off like it's his daughter. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, because at that point, she basically is his daughter. Like, he's raised her. Like, it's not. She's never met the guy. Like, just because he's not, she's basically adopted. So,
well, no, well,
yeah.
She lives with her mum. Like her mum's her mum in the film.
Yeah, but I mean, he's pretty much adopted her. Legally he's her dad, I would imagine, on the birth certificate and stuff. But yeah,
because they erased like all fucking existence, like Morgan Warner.
Yeah, or whatever. What was his? He had the real name, but I guess we'll get to that when we get to the twist in a wee bit. But
I think that was his
Crawford or something.
Crawford, aye, Cash or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was his name. But he plays like obviously he plays like the victim that he's been chained up there for fucking years and years, and he like plays. He basically spends the whole film kind of telling her the truth, but also lying to her. So he says stuff like, "Oh, like about how her dad killed someone," and so you find, and he says, "Oh, he ran someone over while drunk driving. He fucking buried the body, and he made us do it." And he was like, kept saying, "If there's no body, there's no crime and stuff." But then you actually find out later on that is what happened, but the context was different, and then Simon Pegg's character was going to blackmail him. But there is good reason for them to be in that situation. I'm going to let you tell why Simon Pegg is the main character's father, because I feel like that's a topic that I would butcher by trying to be funny. So I'll let you handle this one. You take it away.
Okay. So it becomes quite an already an intense film where someone's chained up in a fucking underground dungeon, but it does take a turn for the darker. If you can believe it, it turns out that Morgan Warner or Cassius Crawford would be the season.
I think that's his name, yeah.
And which is a fucking great name for a villain,
yeah. And it's never used as well. They give him the most evil name, Cassius Crawford, and they just use it twice. They're like, there we go. But when you go.
So obviously Cassius and I'll say Crawford because I know that's a definite. Crawford and Patrick Warburton's character. Let's say it's Archer Monroe.
Yeah.
They met when they were young, and they were they basically gambled together, and they went out kids drinking, just the usual fucking rich kid sort of fucking thing. And I think he had already known. I think Archer had already known his wife at that point. I think they were maybe just going out.
Yeah, I think that they were engaged or something at that point. The film's not very clear on where they were at that point, but they were obviously in a relationship, given how he reacts.
It's what you were saying earlier. The pacing is a wee bit off, so they leave out some descriptive stuff for some sort of contemporary scene, like the teddy bear, as I was saying, and that. It's not needed for.
Yeah.
This topic could certainly use a lot more context, in the film. It could use a lot more delving into that instead of the brush over it gets.
Yeah, I feel like basically, towards the end of the film, she eventually, Simon Pegg's character talks Lily Collins' character, I don't know their names, into releasing him. So she gets some new IDs, she gets some cash, she gets some a bank account with $1 million and a private flight out of the country, and she sets them up to go. Then she goes back to the house, and her detective friend has got her a file because she just happens to be district attorney of New York City, so she knows detectives that can do this. She gets a file on him, and it's her mum that opens it, and her mum's freaking out. She's like, "What? How do you know this man? Why do you have this file?" And she's kind of obviously that's when the daughter starts freaking out. She's like, well, she's freaking out and saying that she'll let him go. Then you find out that basically, what is it, Cassius Crawford had basically a long time ago raped the main character's mother, and that was where the main character was conceived. Lily Collins' character was conceived there, so that's how he's her father. And then basically Patrick Warburton's character, is that his name? Yeah. He discovers, and so he does what any normal person would do. He knocks him out and puts him in the boot of his car, and then goes to, I assume, drive off and kill him somewhere. And then, but they kill someone else. I think it runs over a kid. So then they have to get rid of that body. So then now Cassius Crawford has like the upper hand sort of thing. He's got like blackmail material. But
there's an important detail there. Like the kid doesn't die on the road. Like,
oh yeah, that Cassius kills him, doesn't he? Yeah, yeah, he does that.
Like,
so then now he's gone.
He's the fucking he's a total villain. Like he's the villain of the 25.
Oh yeah, like his file's like this thick, like it's unbelievable, and like you don't see what's in the file, but like they don't even really tease anything. I guess they kind of show his background by how fucking I guess scary he was. Like Simon Pegg was fucking scary at the end of this movie. Like I was impressed with how well he played it. The movie goes from like a thriller kind of like detective-y movie and character focused thing, and it just flips on a dime into a horror film, like when they're in the bunker, because obviously when they let this fucking killer rapist free, he comes back for revenge. Who would have thought? Oh wait, me in the first 30 minutes of the movie when I would have killed him immediately because it was obvious that he would come back for revenge. Just saying. But whatever.
That's like a testament to his how well his character was written. Like, because it's like it does make you think. See, when he was released, like she gave him like what was it, $1 million?
It was $1 million in a bank account, 100K in cash.
And she was sending him on a flight to like the Cayman Islands or something. Like, have whatever you want left. He could go on that flight and lived out the rest of his days in luxury, right? But here's the thing. See, when you land, what do you do? You would be burning to tell people. Like, you couldn't have a normal conversation with somebody. Say you get off the plane, you walk to a cafe or something, you sit down and like, or you even go up to order. Like, you're not even going to be able to order a coffee with being like, yeah, I've just spent like 30 years of my life and I've done it.
Well, yeah, I don't know how long he must have been in there, but probably like 40 years or something. Like, it's hard they don't even tell you how long he's been in there, but you can tell it's a long time because it's longer than the main character's been alive, and I would assume that she's like 30, around that. So, so 1 year longer, roughly, given he's her father. So, say 31 years he's been in there, it'd be mental. First thing he would do is you would land in the Cayman Islands, and you would immediately find a prostitute. That's what most people would do. That's what most men would do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he couldn't go on and like a normal. He couldn't continue that. So like, and it's the testament to his character that like, or how well his character is written. No, his character is a piece of shit. But like, no, like Kenny's like, no, Ken, what I sat and thought about this for years. That like, we're not just fucking walking away like nothing happened. You know what I mean? I'm not letting. And he went back and was like, "No, we're having this out and we're going to fucking talk about it." And it's like,
well, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to lock you in the bunker and kill all your family. Talk about it.
Like, do you know what I mean? We're going to address it as more thing. But
yeah,
I would put him up there with like the top villains in film history. I think I do think this will be a film that's looked back on like fondly.
I wouldn't go that far, but I would say that he does do a really good job. And you know, before you find out that he's like this fucking killer, rapist, fucking evil guy, basically there's a point where he's still playing like the victim and the weakling, and he's trying to convince her to let him go, and she's said, "Okay, I'm gonna let you go," and he gets a haircut and he gets a suit, and see when he's like standing there with that suit on. Like I've got in my notes from before the twist, I've got Simon Pegg in the suit reminds me of the Joker, because he really like when he was standing there with that haircut and in the suit, I was like, he would have made an amazing Joker, and I never would have thought before this guy is who I'm saying would make an amazing Joker, right? Or the Riddler. I feel like he would be maybe more suited to the Riddler because maybe the Joker's a bit too hardcore for him.
He's really a brain, isn't he? Like, he's like, I totally had the same thought though. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, see, just to expect, like, see that scene where he's putting in the suit and he's got the haircut. Like,
Yeah.
it's like Darth Vader getting his fucking suit. It's like Anakin Skywalker getting the fucking Darth Vader shit on. Yeah, I mean, it's like him becoming the Cassius.
The bad guy.
Was it? I can't remember. Cassius Crawford. I'm sure it is.
I think
But
that's
like,
it. You're Simon, pull that
but,
up. It's fine. Simon will pull that up. He'll bring us the info, Tony.
What do
Don't
you
you
want me to
worry.
pull up?
What was the name of the bad? What was Simon Pegg's character called? They had two names. One of them was whatever the other one was, but he had the bad guy name. It's only mentioned like twice in the film.
I'll get back to you on that one in a minute.
I actually thought he would have made quite a good Joker as well. Like, I mean, I love Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, but like, I thought but I do like what you say about it could be quite a good Riddler because he is quite a intellectual.
Yeah, he was the way he played her. Like, obviously, he had all the information because he knew, because it is like that Archer, the Patrick Warburton's character. He was telling him everything. Like, for all the time he was chained up, he would go down and play chess with him and just tell him his it was like his confessional booth. He would just go down and tell him everything. So that's how he knows the main character's name, date of birth, the name of her kids, the name of her husband, the fact that her dad didn't approve of her marriage. He knew all that. So he knew obviously he's a psycho beforehand, so he probably knew how he tear people apart. So he just played her. He had all the information and he just tore her to bits. And it's all that Archer character's fault. Fair enough. I have no issue with him chaining up that character in his basement, given the context of it all. I think it's completely warranted, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But whatever, maybe cut that out. But it's just a joke. FBI, it's just a joke. I'm only kidding, right? But to to leave it to the daughter, that's just shite patter, and to do it to not tell her anything, to just be oh, under your fort, a fort that is probably a terrible memory for her because the only time you see it is her building the fort and her dad coming out and tearing it down.
I just boots it to fuck. He's like, this is off fucking limits.
That's fair enough. There is a man chained up just below. It's fair enough. But it's but the fact that he's so vague, I get you maybe don't want to put on video, look, I have a killer chained up in the basement. I need you to take care of that. But it's he could have given her more info. He could have been I don't know, at least gave her the real name of the guy. And just, so in it, give her the video, the key, and then a piece of paper with his name on it. That's all he needed to do. Because she would have. It's just fucking. Didn't get me started.
The two names that are listed here are Morgan Warner and Carson Thomas.
Carson Thomas? What did we say? Cassius? I'm sure it was Cassius something. I definitely remember.
Carson what?
Carson Thomas.
Carson Thomas.
Cassius.
That's what it said. I mean, I didn't. There was only one listed on IMDb. He's only
that's
listed as Morgan Warner on IMDb, but on
on
the Wikipedia it says here Morgan Warner / Carson Thomas.
Where did we get Cassius from? You know what? I'm not. You know what? See, because he's not called Cassius Crawford, I'm knocking 1 point off of his rating. The whole film's rating. That's a missed opportunity on their part. I'll get my lighting back. My 24 hours of white screen back up. Let's go.
Well, I've had to knock a few points off from my rating, but we'll get to that.
His name doesn't even matter now. It's so dull. It's kind of taken away from the experience. Ruined the whole film.
I didn't want to shit in the film, but I mean, on whoever came up with the name, but I mean,
no, let's shit on them. They did awful. They could do better.
Came up with was fucking better than the one that.
I know. You kind of get the staff nowadays. It's unbelievable. Just roasting the fucking whole team. But yeah, Simon Pegg's the twist, the bit where he's in the corridor. There's a bit where she's basically he takes the mum, puts her in the basement, and then the daughter comes down and is oh no, runs into the door, obvious trap again, Has she never seen a horror film? Have people in movies never seen movies? That's my question, right? Because no way she should have just ran straight down there. She should have ran down there, fair enough. But instead of just, oh, mom, oh no, are you okay? She'd be like, mom, are you alive? No, okay, yeah, you're unconscious, and then turn around and fucking watch the door because obviously she is clear bait. You watch, and then when he appears at the lights and he goes to do his whole turn off the lights bit, you just fucking shoot him. Horror movies are easy, right? Any normal person would survive a horror movie. I'm just saying, I'm just ranting now. This is
slightly different here. Like, you and I are feeling, I wouldn't say a too rough area. It's no fucking it's no fucking Eden. You know what I mean? But it's but like Ken, it's like we live in that sort of fucking way where there's a lot of danger, like cars, fucking other shit to die for.
I suppose maybe she's just never had to look out for danger, I guess.
She's never been in that. I mean, I've never been in that situation. I've never had to like run and find somebody in the door or whatever. But like, like yeah. I think maybe because like we live in a mere fucking fast pace.
Yeah, maybe it's because I don't know. I suppose I'm saying what I think I would do, but I don't know. You never know. If you see your mum lying there, you're gonna run over and you're gonna make sure she's okay. So I'll maybe take back that dig at her, but she made so many other mistakes. It doesn't even matter. She should have been dead long before that. So whatever.
So part of Carson's plan.
Yeah, but like, just like when he like turns off the lights, I was genuinely like, see when it's just he turns off the lights and it goes pitch blackness, and it was genuinely like few movies when they go to like a few seconds of just black screen, is it scary? But he was like the way Simon Pegg was like just whispering in the darkness. I was like, holy fuck, he's actually got it. Like he could be that. He could be the Joker.
You know, like I actually like doing something about like. I mean, it's probably the best thing to bring up, but it's like it's like I think this is possibly like one of the defining films in Simon Pegg's career. I think this is like because I mean this is the first time he's ever done something like this. You know what I mean? So I think
probably
the Simon Pegg fan is definitely fucking it's worth a watch because it's like honestly like see I think see if you like opened them up to like a bigger audience.
It's maybe not opened them up to a bigger audience because he's done like Star Trek and Star Wars and stuff like that, but it's definitely showing a different side. Like I never would have thought. Like I always knew Simon Pegg had like a lot of range because like in Ready Player One and in The Boys. In The Boys season 1, he plays like this. He plays the main character Huey's dad, but he's like this. He's just a wimp. Like he's like a grown man who's just a total wimp, and everything like his body language, like all that, he does it so well. So he's got range. He's not always this kind of like Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. He's two totally different. He's totally different in those two, even though he's still funny. So he's always been excellent, but he's never been scary. I was genuinely scared of Simon Pegg, which is something I never would have thought I'd say in my life.
I would have to agree. Like that scene that you're mentioning, that was like you're right. It does turn into like a fucking horror film. Like, you wasn't expecting it to take that kind of turn, and I definitely think like that's why I think you didn't hear that. I did say like I agreed with you when you said the Star Trek thing, like opening them up to like bigger things. Obviously, he's done like Shaun of the Dead and like Hot Fuzz, but that was like maybe a British audience. I didn't feel like that. You didn't hear a lot of American people talking about those films as much.
I think they're quite popular now, but I don't think they were when they came out.
Aye, that's what I mean. Like so, like obviously I guess he's worked with Edgar Wright.
A lot.
Like, maybe opened his career up to working with J.J. Abrams. Maybe that was a connection. That was what my mind went to.
Well, yeah, I think that Edgar Wright, Nick Frost, and Simon Pegg kind of made each other's careers because they did Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, and I'm pretty sure that's what like launched all of them to like being in fucking everything and getting to do anything you want, except for Ant-Man if you're Edgar Wright because you don't want to play by Marvel's rules. Idiot. You could have made so much more money. Silly goose.
I know, like.
You didn't want it to be in the MCU. Say that again, Tony. You lagged a bit.
I guess it speaks to his integrity, though. That he was willing to walk away because his career differences. Like, I mean, I would say hashed him out, but like, no, I guess he respects that.
Yeah, well, he cares more about the quality of his work than the making of money, which is commendable, but it's kind of dumb. Let's be honest.
I stopped. I mean, you know this, but I stopped enjoying the Avengers from like quite like a long time before what was the most recent Endgame? I was going to say Infinity War, but it was Endgame.
But yeah, we'll move on and maybe do a Marvel movie. We'll make Tony sit down and watch them all and see if he can survive that.
I'll be doing for that. I'll open myself up to that.
I think you like giving yourself a real challenge. Was there any supporting characters that you were a big fan of or anything, Tony?
You know, like they didn't have a lot of people that I knew other than Patrick Warburton, but I decided to go for one that wasn't like quite as obvious. Connie Nielsen, the one who plays the mother. I forget her name in the film, but
yeah, I don't remember her name.
See, just out of interest, see the brother's name. His name was Marquis Richardson.
What is that his name in the film?
No, that's the actor's name.
What, for the brother?
Aye, like his name is Marquee Richardson. Marquis.
No, it's not. The brother's played by Chase Crawford, who's the Deep in The Boys, with the sexy gill body.
Maybe I read the wrong name.
Maybe. I'll see if. Wait, now, isn't Mark. No, I don't know who the hell. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, Chase Crawford is the brother.
That's where you got Crawford to.
Yeah, I don't even know where I got Crawford
I just came out with Cassius.
Yeah, you made that shit up. Oh well.
Well, that was.
It's still a better name. Still a better name.
Oh fuck that! Definitely.
We should get a job. Hire us, Netflix.
Okay.
We should. Surely we could get surely Project X could get a Netflix original. They'll greenlight anything.
Really.
But yeah. But so the mum was your best supporting character. What was the best? What would you say was her best bit?
I think when she puts a hole in fucking Simon Pegg's
Yeah. I'd say that was a pretty big moment. She shoots him like 4 times. She keeps.
I know, like, she fucking, and then they just sit down and like they just like. I thought it was going to, like, I legit thought it was going to end. Like, I started trying to guess at the end, like, who's going to kill him, because obviously, like, well, I mean, is he going to win?
Yeah.
But, like, I thought if he's going to die, it's going to be like the Lily Collins that shoots him.
Yeah.
But no, like, see, and it happens so like abruptly as well. It just goes, you haven't figured it out yet, and at this point she doesn't care. It's like, I'm your fucking father.
And he gets popped in the head.
Like fucking yoink. And like, it's so abrupt, and it's, I'm your fucking father. Oh, kind of fucking. But no,
yeah, that was more again. That was on Simon Pegg, though. He just the way he says it makes that whole scene when he just screams that and then gets dropped.
I know, it's like, but
I feel like this movie didn't really have many supporting characters that did much. Though it was just the whole film was pretty much just Lily Collins and Simon Pegg, and all the supporting characters were like the dad, but he's not really in it. He kind of obviously he's very influential because he sets up the whole events, and then obviously the mother because she ultimately kills him, and obviously she's kind of the catalyst for the whole story. Like if you take it back to where it all began, it was with I'm gonna keep calling him Cassius because it's so much better. being a fucking crazy bastard.
I guess Cassius, or well, I mean Cassius.
Can't call him Cassius. It's much better.
Cassius, like I guess he is the catalyst for the story because it was his actions that happened.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, but you know what I mean. She was obviously tied very directly to that fucking situation. Like she was the victim, I guess. But yeah, she was literally, not I guess. That's what happened. So just try to defend myself from getting cancelled. I feel like I slipped up there. I was like on the backpedaling rapidly. I guess the most influential, even the brother, he does nothing. Like he's just kind of there.
He's meant to be running for like he's meant to be running for mayor, and he's
or no, I think he's running for Congress. I think.
Wait, I suppose he would... one good scene, and it's brought up.
Yeah, like his like I have him as one of my favorite supporting characters. For my favorite supporting characters, I've got him and the lawyer, because like there's the scenes later on where she visits her brother to get some advice, and she kind of talks to him, and she's like, "Oh, I've got this case where someone's being blackmailed by a guy who was held hostage." She does like when you go to the doctor and go, "Hey doc, I've got a friend who's got an inflamed testicle. What should they do?" She kind of did that with her brother, but it was someone held hostage pretty much. But she, on you go.
It seemed like it happened. Like she done it. She brought it up at such an inappropriate moment, like in such a public space, and like
yeah.
But
his advice though, when he's like, what is it? He said, he basically goes, "Oh well, in that case, you pay him off, or you dump him in the river." And I was like, "Thank you."
Completely flips. Like he's portrayed as quite a nice guy through the film. He's just struggling with his campaign, and then at that point, he's just like the face just fucking like the mask comes off.
Well, yeah, obviously, because he's a politician, so he's like, and like just like she's the district attorney, so you see it with her as well. Like the whole family have they're just like all very two-sided, if that makes sense. They've got like their public image, which is very nice, loving family, but then just as soon as like they're faced with an issue, it's like cold, and like he's faced, like when the brother's given that issue, he's like, "Oh well, then you pay him off, or you dump him in the river." Or when the mother, you can immediately see the flip when she sees that file, and she's like, "What the fuck have you been looking into?" And she goes on the attack on the daughter. And then even the daughter, when she's sending away Cassius, I'm going to keep calling him, when she goes to send him away with all his money to the Cayman Islands, she pulls out a bag with his hair, and she's like, "And if you ever come back, I will pin every cold case in the last 30 years on you." So it shows that they've all got this like, very kind, lovely family vibe facing side, but then they just turn and they're like cold as fucking ice. And I guess that's because of their father. That's what they all kind of say. They're all like their dad, and you kind of see it towards the end of the film. Every family member has that moment where they show they all have their cold side.
They got their money, basically. Everybody would cut a throat like vicious.
Yeah, well, it's like, what does Simon Pegg's character say? A politician, a lawyer, and a banker, the unholy trinity. That's the family. So it has some good lines.
Oh, like the key lime pie monologue is fucking brilliant. Like,
yeah, like
he keeps repeating like the ingredient to like a key lime pie. He's got like this wee like, I guess it's like a wee poster, like an ad poster you find in a magazine for key lime pie. It looks old and dusty.
Yeah.
But like, there's a point in the beginning of the film where like it says like when they first meet, and the first couple of times she runs away because she sees him, or he sees her.
Yeah.
And then like when they speak, he's like, "If you want to ken anything, I want a steak. I want a bottle of Scotch aged for every year I've been in here, a bar of chocolate, a packet of cigarettes, and I want a nice." And then then she goes to leave, and it's like, "You're gonna like chance your freedom on all that. I'll just leave you in here, right?" And she walks away. Like, "No, wait." And then she turns around and like, I'd also like a slice of key lime pie.
Yeah, like
like holds the fucking thing up.
Like looking back though, that's like a quite a clear indicator though that he's not this weak victim guy, because he's very calm in that moment to be like, as she's about to walk away and potentially lock him up and that's him dead, like it's going to be a slow death. He's still like he's still able to be like, wait, can I get the key lime pie as well? Like he's still got that in him. It's a very like most people wouldn't do that. Most people would just be like, wait, please come back. So that's a quite. I didn't pick up on it early, but now you say it, I just thought of that there. Like
Yeah, like
most people wouldn't do that.
I guess it's like the way you could answer it is maybe that like he didn't. I mean, he obviously wasn't expecting Archer to die, but he did. And
Obviously was, because he killed him. Spoilers, but he killed him.
Oh shit!
She goes in and she finds like a thing, like basically this whole family, for such rich, powerful, high-ranking people in society, they're all so dumb. He gives the guy a syringe and a bottle of poison if he ever wants to kill himself. Those are perfect murder weapons. He gives it to him like ages ago, and he must maybe just forgot or something. But like when he first locks him up, he gives him poison in a syringe, and like there you go if you ever want to kill yourself. And he never does, but he keeps it all that time, and then kills him. It's like, why would you give him? That's just dumb. You give him a length of rope if you're like if you want to give him that option. You don't give him something he can use against you.
It's like, I mean, I mean, I guess like Archer was probably at the point where like, Kenny was quite a sadistic guy. He used to take pictures of fucking.
Yeah. Well, plus his Cassie said one of his like weaknesses, I guess, was his ego. So I guess maybe he thought even if he wanted to kill me with it, he couldn't because I just overpower him. So I mean, I guess there is. You can explain it away, but it's would a banker who successfully kept someone hostage for let's say 40 years without anyone knowing make such a dumb mistake? You'd have to be pretty careful to get away with all that. What would you rate the film out of 10? Would you give it a 1 or a 10 or something in between those two numbers? There's 8 of them between those two. There is it. Yes, there is.
They were tripping me up there, so. But no, I thought about it, and like I was going to come in here with 7, but obviously because that name is quite dull, that I was able to forget it and convince myself that it was something that we made up. I'm going to deduct a point for that. So I'm going.
That's fair.
I'm going with a 6 out of 10. It was originally 7, but going 6.
Now, see, I had 5 up until the last like 25 minutes, until that flip where it changes into a horror movie. And I don't like horror movie. Like personally, I think horror movies most of the time are cheap crap. There's rare ones that are good, but this one, see if there was another 30 minutes of Cassius on a rampage, this movie would have been incredible, and I would have gave it like 9. But I ended up after those 30 minutes, I went with an 8. So I'm gonna take 1 off for the shit naming of the villain, and I'm gonna give it a 7. So
you're going with 7, and I'm 6.
Yes, I give it 7 key lime pies out of 10.
That's a good rating system.
7 slices for this film. We'll have to come up with a new rating system for every film.
We'll use something from the film, Good shit.
Hell yeah.
Would you recommend it to somebody?
I would. It's hard because to be completely honest, like the film isn't great. Like that whole like 7 rating is just right. It's Simon Pegg. He's got it in the. Although his bike in that photo doesn't have a basket in the front, you can imagine he's just got the whole film in his basket and he's just going. He's carrying the whole film, and he's doing it all on his own. So I would recommend it to a Simon Pegg fan. If someone's like, I really like Simon Pegg. I would go, well, then you should watch this because he's very scary in it. And I thought after it, he should be the Joker. And most Simon Pegg fans would go,
Shit, I
what?
haven't seen that.
That's
And
pretty
then
much
put it,
exactly what I did when you
yeah,
said it.
yeah, that was really Ross's reaction at his desk, gripping it like, what? But yeah, so it's worth it for a Simon Pegg fan, but if you don't really like Simon Pegg, you can give it a miss, to be honest.
I mean, I would say like I mean he's quite different from his regular role. He's not trying to be like. I mean, if you just don't like him as a person, like if his face offends you, then definitely. I mean, there's no
Yeah,
reason for you to watch this film. But I mean, like if you want to see Simon Pegg in a different sort of stance, and you like maybe want to see him do something more serious rather than comedy, definitely we'll fire in. But I would agree with Michael. It's the only reason really to watch it is for Simon Pegg.
yeah.
Other than
There's
that, it's
like no one else is like bad in the movie, but is and the movie itself isn't terrible. Like there's no part of the movie that's awful, but then
uh,
there's no part of the movie that's every part is average except for Simon Pegg, which is very good. He's excellent. So that's how I would describe the movie. Which is pretty fair. No one else really does does much. It's just all Simon. Like he's got this, like the Lily Collins character like spits at him and he's like, "Whoa, that's disgusting!" But just the way he does it is, I can't. It's just hilarious. His delivery because it's one of the first things you kind of. It's so different. It's so jarring because he goes from being like again like the victim for the whole movie, and then he's just like this crazy guy for the last 20 minutes is just
I know. Eh,
it's so weird. It goes from 0 to 100 hella quick.
it's a total mindfuck. Like it's I guess like I mean the eagle eye might have been in stuff so that he probably wasn't who he says he was because he maybe start like about that how he should like it was like he was risk freedom for like healing pie and shit.
Yeah, he was
But I
too
mean
calculated, I guess. You could tell with
I
every
know
move. But then again, he'd maybe been planning that for years. So like I said, if you were there in real life, I suppose you could always explain it away in your own head. You'd be like, well, he's been here for years. He's probably thought nothing else but what he wants to eat. It's
uh,
just like, he doesn't really slip up. I mean, I feel like I was fooled by the movie. See, when she lets him go, there's one thing the movie does well, and again, I guess it's because of Peg's performance. But I didn't see the twist coming. I knew there was going to be a twist. Like, like I did have like I kind of had a feeling that like Simon Pegg's character, I didn't I didn't expect him to be like the kind of evil he was, but I figured he would like he had tried to ruin the family in the past or something like that. Like he'd hidden something that he was going to do when he got out. So I thought the ending of the film was going to be like she lets him go and then like the family gets ruined. I thought they were gonna lose in the end. Like I thought it was gonna be that kind of ending.
all right.
But then I actually I clicked to see how long was left in the movie and I think there's like 30 minutes left and I was like, oh, what the fuck's what's gonna happen now? And so I spoiled the twist for like I was shocked by the twist, but I expected there to be a twist, if that makes sense. It was that one of those kind of movies.
Like it's something that's kind of like more it stands out more to you. More, if you watched it the second time, you would be like, all right, these are the cues that I should have been getting. Like, but it's like I was to say, I was like in the last like 30 minutes, I was like, I have fucking no idea how this is going to end, and that is like I will say like the film kept reinvesting me in the plot. Like if I was following it was bringing me back in with certain things, and I was like, and it like if you do start watching it, it's like you will definitely see it through at the end because it's like you need to. It's a good story.
I mean, I maybe
But
would
as I
have
said,
turned it off, but
like if Simon Pegg wasn't in it, I probably wouldn't have watched it. To be honest.
yeah, I definitely wouldn't have watched it I wouldn't have watched it if it wasn't for this. So, but which is fair enough because I didn't I didn't not enjoy it. I think that's a fair way to say. I enjoyed it, take us out, Tony. I think we've talked about this movie enough. Simon Pegg he's just a beast. He has a sexy workout montage. He's scary. He's funny. Well, I thought that there was one funny. He has a little funny bit, but there's a few. He's excellent. Everyone else is good enough, but he, muy bien. See, this Simon Pegg looks like the Joker. We got Joker Tony. Right. Take us out, Tony. Give us a banger intro. Remember to subscribe. Remember to go check out the Project Hex Twitter, the Instagram, the what else can I bang my fist at? The Twitch. Do I have anything else?
Right. Thanks very much for watching the first episode of Film Club. I've been joined by Michael and the lovely Ross. I've been Tony. So, maybe do another one of these if we do that, but we'll see. Bye. Thanks very much for watching, and make sure you check out all our stuff. Put them in my hands if you want. Bye. The last video, which will be the Whatever podcast, the New Year one. So, without further ado, then, thanks for watching.
Bye.